In today's video, I want to show you guys two really interesting clips that I found from yesterday's hearing about the SEC, about what is going on with Bitcoin, and about Congress and why everyone is firing against the SEC and why Gary Gensler may be fired. So I have two clips for you guys right here. I will also talk about why the SEC also delayed the ARK spot ETF again, and when are we actually going to get an improvement of any spot ETF, because we all know that once we do, we will shot up to $20,000 to $35,000 in no time. Once we get a spot ETF approval, we will go up to 35k in the craziest rally you have ever seen. It's going to be crazy. So yeah, more on that in a bit. I just quickly wanted to show you guys this chart. Of course, yesterday we saw that we broke out of the falling wedge, and in this video I actually don't really want to do any TA because we're still not doing much. We broke out of the falling wedge, immediately came down to retest it, and now we're going back up, which is good. But still, we're trading within the same boring range. There's not much for me to talk about again right now. We're just waiting for either to break this level right here or this level right here to get back in another range and finally see a massive move to the push to the up or downside. So yeah, that's why I want to show you guys these two clips, because I think they are really important for Bitcoin and the future for the spot Bitcoin ETS when we get an improvement and all those kind of things. So let me quickly show you guys the first video.
You refuse to be transparent with Congress regarding your interactions with FTX and Sam Bankman-Fried. That's the investigation we started last Congress. Finally, your lack of responsiveness to this committee's legitimate oversight continues to be unacceptable. And I want to finish here. In February, the committee made multiple requests for documents to the Securities Exchange Commission. This is normal congressional oversight. Yet 7 months later, the committee has not received a single non-public document that was not part of a FOIA production. As I said, our patience is wearing thin. The SEC is not above the law, nor is it unique. Other financial regulators have routinely complied with congressional oversight. So let me be clear. I do not want to be the first chairman of this committee to issue a subpoena to the Securities Exchange Commission. And you should not want to be the first SEC chair to receive a congressional subpoena. Either we find a path forward where the SEC recognizes Congress as a co-equal branch of government and is responsive to our oversight duties, or my option is to issue a subpoena. It's time for you to consider the lasting consequences of your actions, and what that means to the Securities Exchange Commission's reputation long term. While your time in this role may be temporary, the repercussions for your actions may be permanent for the agency. I yield back.
Alright, so this guy's just firing against Gary Gensler right now. He's actually saying that he is maybe receiving a subpoena. If you don't know what it is, it basically means that you have to confess for court and for a jury, and you just have to explain why you're doing certain stuff, which is not good at all, and it means you're in trouble. And that's actually what Google says as well. If you just search it up, really funny. Google straight up says that you're in trouble if you receive it. So Gary Gensler doesn't want to receive it, of course, and this means that he might actually have to finally give some improvements to the spot ETFs and for Bitcoin, and just let Bitcoin a bit free, because we all know Gary Gensler is really against Bitcoin, of course. However, that's totally not good at all for Bitcoin. However, if we're finally getting other Congress people finally stepping in and showing up for Bitcoin, that is of course really good. Then we have one more different video right here that I quickly wanted to show you, and that is right here. That they might want to fire the SEC chairman Gary Gensler. So yeah, I will quickly show you guys this video as well.
You're pushing a woke political and social agenda, and I think abusing your role in the authority of the SEC as cover. So, I think fundamentally the SEC Stabilization Act would remove the role of chairman. It would preserve the current commissioners. It would add a sixth commissioner. So there would be no more than 3 from any one political party. And so that would provide a path that would make the SEC do what you're avoiding. Frankly, you're front-running Congress, you're front-running the courts, you're front-running even the own administration, and no one has held you to account for that. I mean, I wish the Biden administration would say you're fired, but the list of folks they need to do that for is long. Congress hopefully will with the SEC Stabilization Act. I yield.
Gentleman's time's expired.
Alright, so you just heard it. They might want to fire SEC chairman Gary Gensler, which is of course really good. If we get a different one that is a lot more pro Bitcoin, of course, that will be much better for Bitcoin. And yeah, they might want to just completely remove the chairman for the SEC, which is of course really good, which means that they can front run different changes and decisions like they said in the video, which is really good for Bitcoin, especially if they just fire Gary Gensler at all. So, alright, so now I want to talk about the SEC, because Gary Gensler also just pushes the deadline for the ARK21 share spot Bitcoin ETF. And what does this mean for the older ETFs? Well, if we look at this graph right here, we can see that they just declined the ARK21 shares Bitcoin spot ETF, and actually they had all the way till the 11th of October of November actually to approve or disapprove it. So they are really early on this one, and the final deadline is now the 10th of January, of course. So this means that ARK21 shares will have its final deadline and the final decision at the 10th of January. Then we also got BlackRock, Bitwise, and a lot of big, of course, other applications that are still waiting. However, because they just disapproved or just delayed ARK's spot ETF again, there's a mega big chance that they're also going to completely delay all the other Bitcoin spot ETFs, simply because it wouldn't make sense to approve one and then just delay the rest. That wouldn't make sense, and I think that's also not what is going to happen. And I've actually looked into this a bit, and there's a really small chance that they are going to approve the third deadline for all these Bitcoin spot ETFs, which means that we have to look to the final deadline, which is going to be all the way in March, of course, of 2024 for the rest of the Bitcoin spot ETFs, and of course the first one for the ARK investment one, which is going to be the 10th of January. Do note that they are probably not going to approve them one by one. What they're going to do is there's a really big chance that they're just going to approve all the Bitcoin spot ETFs at once, and I am actually expecting this to happen just after 2024. They're going to push it all the way to 2024, meaning a new year, fresh starts and all those kind of things. But they're probably going to approve the ARK21 shares Bitcoin spot ETF before the 10th of 2024 January, and then they're also immediately going to approve all the older Bitcoin spot ETFs. It's going to happen in a single day. There's no chance at all right now that they are going to just approve one and delay the rest. That wouldn't make sense. So there's a really big chance, like a 99% chance, that they are going to approve all the Bitcoin spot ETFs if they decide to approve one all the way back in January of 2024, and then they will approve all of them at once, which is going to cause the craziest pump of the lifetime you will ever see. It's going to be absolutely crazy. But yeah, for now we have to wait all the way to the 10th of January, probably a little bit before that, but around the 10th of January we are probably going to see all the Bitcoin spot ETFs be approved, and then we also are going to trade, of course, into the halving, which is also coming up in 2024. Just know that once the Bitcoin spot ETFs are going to get approved, it will immediately push us into the craziest rally you will ever see, all the way to 35k probably, and from that level we are just going to bounce straight into a bull run. It's going to be absolutely crazy. So if you're now thinking of exiting Bitcoin or just not wanting to trade Bitcoin at all because Bitcoin is just so boring at the moment, then just know that bigger and crazier times are ahead, and Bitcoin is going to move like crazy once these Bitcoin spot ETFs are approved. It seems like the entire market is just waiting for them, because that is finally some good news for Bitcoin, and it's going to be absolutely crazy. That's also why we don't have much volatility right now, and also why, of course, liquidity is going down plus volume is going down. It's all because we are waiting for the Bitcoin spot ETFs, and we probably have to wait a few more months. That's completely fine. There's a really big chance that we are literally just going to do this. There's a really big chance, so get ready for that. In the meantime, you can of course trade altcoins or do whatever you want, but it seems like altcoins are right now pumping like crazy. If you just look at some altcoins I have right here on my chart, of course, you don't have to, but I've been doing this in my free time. It's actually making me a quite good amount of money. So if you want to trade altcoins as well, just like this one, look how crazy it has been going up here on the 5-minute chart, absolutely insane. Then you can go to the first link in the description, sign up for a Bybit account using my link. You will get $30,000 completely for free and 25% off fees completely for free signing up, first link in the description. So yeah, I hope I gave some useful information on the Bitcoin spot ETFs. And yeah, I hope you can do something with this information, and it's just basically waiting. So yeah, that being said, I hope guys, I will see you in my next YouTube crypto video.